I can play off the ball and I can play on the ball, but I think the main thing I feel like I can do well is just playmaking ability, not scoring, not just passing, just making a play.
Mike Schmitz here with RJ Hampton. We're in New Zealand, just outside of Auckland. So what's it been like for you so far? You know, coming out here, getting settled with your family. We're here in your family's home. Beautiful view of the water. I know you went back to the States, played some preseason games against NBA teams, but I guess how would you describe the first couple months here? It's
been good. They set me and my family up with a great house, car. So I think they've just been putting it all out there. And then the basketball side, it's been good. You got your ups and downs with professional basketball. It's not easy, but I'm enjoying it.
So we're going to dive into some of your film here. We're going to look at about 6.5 minutes of, some areas where you've been really good so far, and then some areas where I think you're still improving, and, just getting a feel from talking to scouts, and just talking to them about, where you've really excelled, and then also, some areas where you can improve. So we're going to dive into this here. And we're going to start with your open court speed and your ability to play off of other guys. I think this is an area where you've really improved over the last few games. In high school, you were so used to having the ball in your hands, and in AAU, creating your own offense. And I think it's going to benefit you long term, playing off these other guys. So watch this here. Watch where you start. Here's LaMelo, and just a dead sprint. This is one of my favorite plays of yours from yesterday. You catch midair. That's a big-time pass. Let's run that back. Just take me through kind of what you were thinking there and your thought process here.
Well, I know Tom Abercrombie. I know he's always looking up court, so I just had to make a full-out sprint, and I saw opening. But last second I saw Rob, and Aaron Brooks was on him, and I knew if I just threw it up there, it was a likely chance he was going to get it.
And again, we saw the same thing against Sydney. You're the fastest player on the court at all times, pretty much against anyone. Again, dead sprint. You beat Didi down the floor, and that's an easy finish. What has it been like for you, like I mentioned, going from a guy who's so used to having the ball in his hands, creating all the offense, to kind of learning to play off of these other guys who have been really accomplished in the NBA and in Europe?
I mean, you just got to learn that you have good guys on your team, great guys around you. When you get to the NBA, you're going to have a team where there could be 3-4 vets that have been there, done that. So you just got to learn how to play off other guys, but at the same time, your time will come where the ball is in your hands, so you just got to make the best of what you got.
And then we'll look at the ball being in your hands a little bit here. 7 rebounds yesterday, I believe. I thought you were really aggressive on the glass. And then attacking in the open court. So I know you hit him with the Euro here eventually. What's your thought process? What's going through your head as you see Emmett Nar backpedaling in transition?
Just take it all the way. He's a little shorter than me, so take it all the way, get to the cup, and make something good happen.
So we saw you use this Euro against Oklahoma City, I believe. You drew a foul. What's the footwork like? What's the key to having an elite Euro step?
I think just whatever foot I start the Euro off with, I want to make it look like I'm going straight to the basket that way. So if I start off with my right, look like I'm making it look like I'm going all the way to the basket with my right, and then at the last second just go over with the left.
And then again later in the game, really getting downhill, seeing Emmett Nar backpedaling. I think you're at your best when you're putting pressure on the rim, whether it's in transition, whether it's in the half court. Thought you had some really nice moments doing exactly that. And Scottie Hobson, you can see full flex, loving it on the bench. Then your transition playmaking also. I think you're a guy who can create for others as well in early offense situations just because of your speed, your passing instincts. Now, this is one of the first games of the season. I think this was at the Blitz.
That was our first game, against Blitz.
And this is a play where, maybe you're a little bit sped up, right? Maybe your speed and athleticism is ahead of your brain, and you see 2 guys here in front of you. So let's pause this. So you got 2 guys converging to you. You have the big trailing, and then the opposite wing filling. What should be your read here, I guess?
I think my read should be I'm attacking the big. The point guard's trailing after me. Mm-hmm. Pull it back, go at him, one more dribble, pull it back out, and then make that dime to the big, run down the midline.
And then you can see, just get a little bit sped up. They do a nice job containing you. Jump pass. That's a turnover. Here's an example of you doing the opposite. I thought you did a great job here against Oklahoma City. Chris Paul is retreating. Do a really nice job of vision up, keeping your dribble. Take me through this play here.
Coming down, try to beat Chris, pull it back out, and then I think Terrence Ferguson kind of relaxed, and then I knew I had an open hole to go back at him.
And just keeping your head up, keeping your handle, surveying the floor. You can see it again here. You see Scottie kind of leaking out, but you take your time. they take that away, hit the big, leads to a wide open three. That's a hockey assist that doesn't exactly show up in the box score, but I know Coach Dan Shamir would be really happy with that decision, that play. And then let's run this back a little bit. I love your feel in transition again here, but it starts with the block. Now, we'll get into this a little bit later, but this is big time stuff. You know, you get screened off, you recover impressively, and then again, head up, you're pushing, you're not sped up, and then you do a great job with the handoff to one of your best shooters, Corey Webster, little rub screen. I think you're just steadily evolving in your ability to kind of slow down and make the right play. Take me through this again here and just kind of your thought process.
I knew I had Josh Boone, so I tried to attack him first. Knew there really a hole because I had my big man on the block, and then I saw Corey. We kind of do that a lot. I just do a little handoff and then do a little rub screen, and I know if I do that, he gets just this much of space going up, and most of the time it's going in.
Do you feel more comfortable with the ball in your hands, playing off of other guys? Like, where do you see your future, I guess, long term in that regard?
I think it's just a combination of both, really. I can play off the ball and I can play on the ball, but I think the main thing I feel like I can do well is just playmaking ability, not scoring, not just passing, just making a play.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll get into some of your half-court stuff as well. Your pace and pick and roll, I think that's an area where you've steadily improved as well. Now, this is earlier in the season, okay? This is against the Memphis Grizzlies. You do a nice job here of coming off tight. Rob Lowe gives you a great screen on John Morant. I think playing in this pocket area, right, and kind of keeping defenders off balance is where a lot of the best point guards have success. Here you have Jay Crowder sagging back. He's in a drop. And then you have Dylan Brooks kind of in the gap. And you pull up for a contested two here. That's a tough shot. You know, we've seen a lot of the best point guards kill those mid-range spots. I think that's a really important area. But, maybe doing a better job of just kind of keeping these guys guessing, keeping them on their toes, maybe changing speeds, changing directions, manipulating the defense a little bit. And you can see something similar here. I like the hesitation at the elbow. I think you do a nice job there. The best point guards in the NBA to me are ones who can kind of manipulate this guy, right? Like, you can slow down, you can speed up, you can freeze him, you can make this weak side pass to the corner, you can hit the pocket pass. Here you kind of, get downhill, pull it out a little bit, probably get bailed out with the foul. Who are some of the best point guards? We'll get into some of your strengths in this area right now, but who are some of the best point guards at, in your opinion, in the NBA at kind of changing speeds, changing pace, and picking teams apart?
I think one of the best changing pace point guards is Kemba. Just the way he can, go from 100 to 50 and then back to 75. So I like him with changing paces. And also, Dame, and then I think one of the best pick and roll players. You don't really see it. I mean, you do see it, but Kyrie, off the pick and roll, he's just ridiculous.
As the game went on, I think this is a few possessions after that, you're improving your ability to read the game here. Like, okay, they go under, Aaron Brooks going to fight over, Biggs in a drop. I love how you change speeds here and you explode with force, with purpose, blow by the big and skate along the baseline. That's an impressive read. I think 9 times out of 10, that's going to be an assist for you. And then this is my favorite pass of the season for you, okay? I don't know if you remember this play early on in the year, but you're going to reject the ball screen here. Again, you're going to manipulate the defense. You're going to change speeds. You're going to change directions and skate along the baseline and make a one-handed pass to Sek Henry. That's an NBA level play right there. So I want you to kind of break down, what you saw in this play and how you're able to make that read.
I think all the time when I'm driving baseline, I know I have a corner fill and I have a wing right there. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of the times I'm just trying to figure out which man the last man is going to go to. Is he going to go to the corner? Is he going to go to the wing? And he kind of shaded towards the corner, so I knew I had that straight line wing pass.
I think if you're consistently making those type of reads, also going to your left hand, that's going to make you a really dynamic pick and roll player. And you can see it as a scorer as well. Your ability to get downhill here against Steven Adams. It's very slight, and you didn't finish, but just a slight hesitation is going to make him second guess. And he's on an island right now, right? He's got to choose between you and Rob Lowe, okay? Yeah. So you give him just a subtle hesitation, explode, 9 times out of 10, that's a finish for you, but that leads to a bucket. What are your options here as you're looking at this? Like, when you're in this situation, Chris Paul is kind of trailing, what's going through your head?
At this point, I was thinking kind of Chris Paul's kind of behind the play. I knew I could beat him with my speed. So I kind of had a 2-on-1 with Rob, and I thought I could get that layup. But I think I really could have pulled it down one more dribble, asked for a rescreen because he kind of went under the play, and then it would have set him up a lot better, and then we had a real 2-on-1.
True. And even this, though, this is going to lead to a bucket. And just that slight change of speed, exploding to the rim, I think you're doing a better job as we go along of finishing at the rim over length. I want to ask you, what was it like playing those games against, bigs like Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson, real NBA caliber rim protectors, and then also point guards like Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? What did you take away from all that?
I think it was good. I think it was really a learning experience. I was just going in those games not to put up 30 points, but just to get better and learn. So I just took a lot from what I saw with Chris Paul and Shai and how I saw Steven Adams rim protect and Jaren. So just use that when I came back here and find different little niches that I can put into my game.
Perfect. And then we'll see here. This is against Illawarra. I love how you set up this screen here, okay? You're taking the ball closer down to the elbow, getting a great angle, and then you explode to the rim. Like I said before, you're at your best when you're getting downhill, especially going to your right hand. There aren't a lot of people in this league that can stop you in that regard. Here, you do a great job of reading him, right? That's Harry Frolling's brother, Sam Frolling. So you see he's drifting to Weeks in the corner, right? Yeah, people say don't throw jump passes, yada, yada, but I think this is a big-time read. You're going to hit sec in rhythm. Wide open three, splash. So tell me kind of what you're seeing here from start to finish.
I just know I could tell that they were just trying to down every screen, so I knew they were downing it. So I knew to get to the middle, and then I got to the middle, and then I'm reading that last man. Sam drops back, and he goes towards Weeks because he thinks I'm passing there or going to shoot a layup. So he's closest to the rim, so that just makes it wide open.
And we've seen all these reads from you now, right? Like kind of the progression when you're getting downhill to your right. We've seen you make, the baseline drift pass here. And then we've seen you, hit sec. We've seen you make pocket passes. So as the season goes along, I think we're seeing you evolve as a decision maker in pick and roll, and your pace is really improving. And that's something that scouts really want to see from you is, playing on the ball full time and getting other guys involved. I think you've done a great job. And so here's one area where you've seen this, right? Like teams are going under ball screens against you. I think Oklahoma City did it a few times. Here's Darius Baisley going under the screen. That's going to be a question for you, right? Like, can he make shots when teams go under screen? And I want you to see your feet here. I'm not going to say I'm a shock doctor or anything like that, but when you're at your best and you're really making shots, like what does your base generally look like?
I think it's just shoulder width apart. I catch it or I'm dribbling and I kind of either 1-2 or kind of get a little hop into it, but usually 1-2 apart from shoulder.
And do you feel like it looked a little bit flat? Is that a product of the feet? Is that a product?
That was my feet right there for sure. My feet were way too close.
Yeah. But here's something that you've done to kind of combat these unders. You can see it here against Sydney. So they're going to go under the first screen, right? They're going to go under, but then you're going to ask for the rescreen from Rob Lowe. They're never going to go under that rescreen. It's very rare, especially in the NBA. You're going to see teams go under that rescreen. So I think you do a great job with Casper Ware kind of trailing. He's 5'11", okay? Yeah. And you have an angle here. Get right to the front of the rim. We've seen that time and time again. How big of a part of your game is that, just knowing that teams are going to be going under ball screens?
I think it's a big part. I think, you just got to hit shots when they're open. You got to take it with confidence. And then if you don't feel comfortable with that shot, call for the rescreen. Mm-hmm. And, like you said, most of the time they're going over that second one. And then now it's your time to get downhill.
So you did a nice job against the Thunder, I thought, of attacking switches. It was almost like, night and day from your comfortability against Memphis and then Oklahoma City. I thought you made a huge jump, passing the ball, making reads, getting downhill. And they're going to switch onto you here with Mike Muscala. What's going through your head here?
Well, I came off, and then I was like, should I go just attack the rim full speed? And I was like, no, let me bring it out and really get him on an island and just kind of just blow by and have everybody space out and then see my options. So I let everybody kind of space out and then blew by him.
And you hit him with kind of the double cross here. See Scotty dive into the rim. That's an impressive read off a live dribble. And then again, against Justin Patton, you do a nice job of dragging this out. You don't settle for the elbow jumper, which I know you can make at a pretty high clip. You're going to set things up. Another crossover. You hit second in the corner. And I love how you relocate here. Quickly, you don't waste any time. As Patton's closing out to you, what's your thought process here?
He's closing out. He kind of got slow feet. Just attack the rim and make a play.
And that's exactly what you do with the jab. When you get downhill to that right-left plant, when you can explode off 2 feet, extend with the left hand, that's when you're most dynamic to me. I thought you had some really impressive plays in those preseason games, getting downhill in that regard. So really impressive stuff. And then we're going to get into your defense a little bit. How would you describe, it's a physical game, right? I mean, you're going out there, you're playing Ja Morant, you're playing Chris Paul, some big names, even Tyus Jones, a very good player. Yeah. The NBL in particular, though, what has the biggest adjustment been for you on the defensive side of the ball?
Probably just you got to stay in front of guys. You got to make it tough for guys. You got guys like Casper Ware, Bryce Cotton, Melo Trimble. So you just got to make it tough for guys. And I think they're coming at you full speed downhill. So just kind of staying in front, but not giving them the jump shot too.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see a couple of plays here against the Grizzlies and Ja Morant. I don't know what kind of coverage you guys are in. Ja, not a great shooter. Maybe you want to go under here. But Jaren does a nice job of kind of giving you a little shove. And here's my big thing when you get screened off, right? Like, your job is now to sink inside of that big, to take away the pocket pass, the drop off, the offensive rebound. Jaren Jackson, gets an easy look here. So anytime you get hit, anytime you get screened, that's what coaches are going to want to see from you. And again, against Ja, maybe go under here and give yourself, better opportunity to stay in front. But regardless, you get hit and Jaren's going to dive. So now it's up to you to dead sprint, get inside of Jaren Jackson and make sure that's not an offensive rebound. Brandon Ashley bails you out here with an impressive block. But here's a play where you do exactly that. You do a really nice job of getting inside that big and stealing this pocket pass. With your length and your quickness, I think your instincts as well, you can be a terror guarding ball screens. Has this been an emphasis for you? How have you kind of maneuvered, defending pick and roll at this level?
For sure. I think ever since those preseason games, the team's been on me, coaches have been on me. So, I think, like Tom Abercrombie, he's always telling me, you got to veer switch that. You got to go onto that big. So I've just made it a point whenever we do switch or whenever I do get caught late behind the guard going over, just to go ahead and veer switch it and take away that pocket pass or that dump off.
Absolutely. And then we're going to keep moving into some more pick and roll defense here. Okay, you get absolutely blasted here. I don't know who the big is. I don't know if they called out the screen. Let's run that back. But Andrew Bogut, that's kind of your welcome to the NBL moment here.
Yeah, it was a hard hit.
Yeah, you remember that? So you get hit, but for as much as you've gotten hit on screens this year, I love how you don't give up on this play at all. You recover and you make a play at the rim. You know what I mean? You're 6'5", 6'6", good length, good athleticism. Again, there's no reason you shouldn't be one of the better pick and roll defenders in the NBL and eventually maybe the NBA. Take me through this play here and kind of what you were thinking as Andrew Bogut took your head off.
I came and I got hit, so I was like, and then I saw Rob. He kind of helped out, and then I knew Scotty had to make a choice whether to go in or go out, and I saw he was kind of going out, so I knew I had to sprint back. And I knew I could make a play. The guard wasn't really athletic, so I could just challenge a shot at the basket.
And we saw more of that recovering, you're going to get hit, right? And I think technique, things like that can improve, but just recovering using your length and athleticism. But I do think that there are more ways to kind of avoid getting hit, right?
Sure.
Especially with your quickness, your athleticism. What are you seeing here in terms of what is the best way to avoid getting hit on the screen? What type of coverage are you guys in against LaMelo?
We were in unders.
Okay, so you're in under here. So one thing I'll say with unders, right? Your mindset is so much, you got to get under the screen, right? Oh, maybe this guy's a non-shooter. But you can still pressure the ball, and that's going to force them to set the screen higher. And then right at the point of the screen, you duck under, and you probably have a better chance of keeping it in front, contesting. Even if you're up here pressuring the ball, you can still duck under. Instead, you get hit. You do a nice job of reaching from behind. It's a turnover. But I think you're going to learn these things, more nuances to defending pick and roll. The NBA is such a ball screen heavy league.
Sure.
And like I said, with your feet, with your size, with your length, there's no reason you won't eventually be one of the better, pick and roll defenders in the league. And here's, again, like I said earlier, you get hit, but you do a great job of recovering. You don't give up on the play. And look at how you wall up there. That's a really tough shot for LaMelo. What was that matchup like for you? I know you guys had a little bit of back and forth, and you've known each other. You guys are friends. Yeah. What was that experience like?
I mean, it was good just to see both of us doing what we love to do at a pro level. That two guys really haven't really done on this type of caliber before and this type of media and magnitude. It was just good playing against him. I mean, I liked it. He's a great player, and I'm just excited to see where we both go.
and you like winning by 40, I'm sure.
Yeah,
made it a lot easier.
Yeah, made it a lot easier.
So you can see the end there. Really nice job. And then we're going to dive into some of your isolation defense as well. So again, earlier in the season, some areas where maybe they caught you flat-footed, right? Like here's Tyus Jones, semi-transition coming down, and you're upright. I think you're worried about maybe potentially a screen coming here. Tyus Jones, not the quickest guy, but he's savvy, he's crafty, he catches you, and that's going to lead to a wide-open three. There's no days off in the NBA. You know that. Yeah. One night it's, Chris Paul. One night it's Dame Lillard. One night it's Kyrie, So
sure.
Always just being ready for that. And then Casper Ware. He's one of the tougher guards in the entire league. And, they were putting you in screens. They were attacking you a little bit. And I know he's small and he's burly. He's got some strength to him. But I think if you fully sit down, like you see how you're a little bit hunched over, your base is narrow. Like if you sit down in a stance and you're not hunched and you have a wide stance, that's going to allow you to move your feet much better. It's going to allow you to react to his moves. And I think you're going to play much bigger if that's the case. So he's able to go right through you and get to the rim. What's kind of your takeaway from that play there?
Just from that play, I felt like, I could have, like you said, sat down in a stance. And then, on that first initial contact, not get bumped. I think on that first initial contact, I didn't really wall up strong enough, and that's why he was able to just go through me.
And then we're going to see some plays where you really made a jump in this regard. I think you've had some really impressive defensive possessions. Like here, you can see your stance, right? Like you're much wider, you're ready to react to his initial move, and you're going to take this bump. Like that's great defense. You know what I mean? Your right hand's up, you're sitting down, you're sliding, you take that bump, and then you recover. And what's your wingspan? 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah.
Like you have good length. There's no reason why a 5'11" guard should be able to score over you. That's high level defense right there. A really impressive adjustment in game. And then we're going to see a little bit more of that as well. Take me through this play here.
Yeah, I remember that play. Shot clock was going down. He's the shooter, so I'm just keeping a hand up but trying to stay in a stance just so he won't go by and make a dump off or a play at the basket. So I just knew it was late clock, late situation, just have a high-hand contest and live with it.
And you do a really nice job of that. And in this league, it's a lot of small guards, right?
Sure.
Like him, Melo Trimble, Jerome Randall. And so with your size, your length, these are guys where you can give yourself a little bit of space, sag off of them, and force them into tough contested jumpers just like that. And it's not just them. Like, this is against Chris Paul, right? The point god, is that what they call him?
Yeah.
This is a really impressive defense. Take me through this.
I was thinking in my mind, I knew we watched film a lot on Chris, so I knew whenever Chris is going towards his right, he wants to have that little right sidestep. And, I've been watching it for years, so it wasn't kind of hard for me to predict it. But I was just trying to make it tough for him with the late contest.
And that's a big-time play there, forcing a tough shot from one of the best point guards we've ever seen. And then lastly, we're going to go into some of your off-ball defense. This is an emphasis for a lot of young guards. I know at the high school, AAU level, even USA basketball, it's not always – guys aren't always knowing exactly where to be every single time down the floor. Just evaluating different prospects. From my perspective, that's one of the bigger weaknesses for every guy, just because that comes with time and experience in playing more high-level basketball. So we're going to look at, some areas where you have to improve and then, some of the plays where you really made a jump. So here you can see you point switch that, and then we got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball here, and then Justin Patton. So you're guarding Justin Patton, right? And he's going to kind of mosey his way down into the paint, but he's not really a threat. You know what I mean? And you're big. I don't know if that's Tom or who that is, but he's on an island. So where should you be, and what should be your play here?
We got to play, we switch off, and then I think it's late clock called money, so we just kind of like shade towards Shai in this instance. And, that's my read for the team. And I think I do got to make it harder for Justin to go straight down the lane.
Yeah, and I think just giving help, you know what I mean? Like, especially with Patton, who's not really a stretch guy, and he's kind of in no man's land there. I think you could, whether it's a dig or a full body commit, just being more of a presence off the ball is going to make you a really impactful defender, get more steals, more blocks. And similar situation here. He doesn't convert, but here's Grayson Allen coming off the DHO. And if you just look at where Tyus Jones is, right, like he's not a threat from there. You know what I mean? And again, Thomas Abercrombie on an island, if you just sink a little bit,
for sure,
shrink the floor, and whether it's a dig or a full body commit, a clog, I think you could really help your team and help yourself there. He's able to get downhill, doesn't finish, but I think just completely being locked in off the ball is, an area where all young players can improve. Not great communication here from Brandon Ashley. Like, he's got to let you know that screen's coming. So you get hit a little bit, and then you're recovering, try to shoot the gap. That's tough. When you leave yourself kind of behind, then you're chasing. And that's tough to come back from. But like I said, you've made a lot of improvements in this regard. And I love what you did here. It was very subtle. But take me through this set. I think you guys went through this set, this Illawarra set, maybe in shoot around or in practice
yeah, for sure,
to get LaMelo an open look. And you read this perfectly. So what are they trying to do here?
First of all, they're just trying to kind of, I guess, bait us with the two cuts right there. And then I knew LaMelo was going to come over the top, so just have a high hand so he doesn't get that. And then I knew he was coming up, so just fight him and then stay on his hip.
And you completely blow this up, and that's a big dude right there, and you're using your strength, you're using your quickness, completely take them out of their set. That's impressive stuff. And then we're going to end it with the highlight of the day, I think. You get screened off here, but you do a great job of recovering, showing fight, your athleticism, your closing speed. What did that play feel like for you just to start the game off with such a bang?
I think it was just kind of just more of just having the will to start my team off with fire. And, I think that was kind of a tone setter of how the game was going to go. So I knew if he would have made that bucket, I think Illawarra would have had a little run, but I had to stop that bucket. So
you're about a couple months in. What is kind of the outlook for you these next few months? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish? Where are you hoping to improve? How do you see the rest of this going?
I see the rest of it going good. I just kind of want to just improve every day. I got good guys in practice, Sek, Corey Hop, Weeksy, guys that can push me and challenge me in practice also. And just every game, just improve on something that I didn't do well in the last game and just keep that going throughout the season.
For people who maybe don't have a great perspective on the level over here, like, how would you describe how different it is from what you're used to in the States?
I mean, it's a lot different. I mean, you don't have, in high school basketball, you don't have Casper Ware, Aaron Brooks, or Jerome Randall, Melo Trimble, those great guards overseas. So I think it's really a challenge, and I think also the physicality is just a lot more heavy. When you're coming off those ball screens, bigs are hitting you. Andrew Bogut's hitting you. He's sticking his butt out. It's hard to get around him. So you just got to learn how to, maneuver through those screens and maneuver through the contact, and I think that you'll be fine.
And I'll leave you with this. Do you think that we're going to see a lot more young high school players, at least maybe until the one and done goes away, go this route? And would you, go to them and say, hey, obviously we're very early in the process, but this is something that worked for me?
For sure. I think if you're a prospect that can't make this jump, I think if you want to get better every day, I mean, your stats might not show. You might not be scoring 30 points in college, but if you want to get better every day and challenged, I think this is the best route.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.